going to be building decking in this area here. I'm building the decking for members of the family. After consulting with them and finding out exactly what they were looking for, I sketched a design of what this is going to look like. Then I measured it up and drew a design to know exactly how many pieces of timber I needed and at what length. I then put a budget together listing all the items. The wood has arrived. Let's start with the 6x2 bearers. I'm cutting this to the correct size to be fixed to the wall at the back. This bearer is used as an anchor for the whole decking to be built from. I'm going to make sure the decking is the exact height of the raised patio area. I'm taking into account the decking board thickness. Mark out exactly where you want the holes in the bearer. I've made sure there's a slight fall so it's not exactly level, so this allows the rainwater to drain off the boards. Drill through to mark guide holes in the brickwork behind. I'm allowing a 2mm fall every metre. I'm using a 7mm drill bit. I've drilled the holes and I've put the raw plugs in the holes. I'm using these galvanised washers as spacers, so there's a gap behind the backplate to allow the rainwater to drain behind the joist. I'm using hex screws. Place the screws through so that they are slightly sticking out the other side. Place the washers over the screws. Now line the screws up with the holes in the wall and then screw into place. Then build the outer section of the frame and make it into a square. There's a bit that juts out here, so it's like an L shape, or more like a B shape. Now for the joists. Mark and then drill where you want them to go. They are about a 40cm gap. I'm using a 12mm drill bit for the countersink. I'm countersinking this so the decking board can go on the outside to cover it up. I pre-drilled holes at an angle to fix the bearer to the back plate. Make sure that everything is level. I've levelled this with paving slabs underneath. Screw the hex screws in. Make sure they're all lined up accurately. That's that done. Now for the noggins. The noggins are going to go between the bearers. This is to stop the bearers from twisting. I'm offsetting them slightly. That's that bit done. Make sure it is all level and the paving slabs underneath are at necessary intervals so it doesn't bounce too much and is solid. Now for some of the decking boards. I'm going to put the handrail posts in place now, starting with the back one. Mark the holes on the posts, then drill. These posts are going to have rope attached to them. I've got coach bolts so the posts can be attached to the bearers. Make sure this is vertical. Now I'm going to put one coach bolt in. I'll make sure it's level and then I'll put the other coach bolt in. Tighten the coach bolts in the exact place. Then cut the decking boards around the post. Okay, now for the other post. Now for the end post. Mark the holes. Measure this against the bearer for the exact location of where to drill the holes through the bearer. Coach bolts. I'm using coach bolts to attach the post firmly to the bearer. Again, attach one of the coach bolts to the bottom and then make sure it's all levelled vertically, and mark where the second hole is to be drilled in the bearer. Then drill a hole into the bearer and tap the coach bolts in. Now for the third post. I've put a decking board at the front so I know the exact location of where this post needs to go. Again, drill only one hole through the bearer. Coach bolts. I'm going to hammer the bottom one in because that's the one that I've lined up, ready to go. Then mark the second hole to be drilled into the bearer. Tap the coach bolts through. Then put the washers and nuts on and make sure these are really tight. Make sure it is level throughout the fitting. Now for the final post. It's going to go between the two posts. Mark, drill and do exactly the same as before. Right, that's that one done. I'm going to cut a decking board between the two posts so this secures it even further so there is no sideways movement. This also finishes off the side nicely. Then I'm laying out all the boards first before I screw them in place. This is so I don't have to cut a board long ways. This helps by making sure it all looks uniform and pleasing to the eye, as well as being practical where there is a slight gap between the boards for any movement. I'm making the step. I'm making this like a frame. This will just sit at the front. I'll attach this to the bearer. cut a long board around the step at the front. This is so the front section is finished off nicely. I've put a noggin in this step so that when I put the decking boards on, they're not bouncy at all. Okay, now we're cutting the boards around the posts. That fits nicely. Now to cut around the other posts. I'm using this board as a guide to cut round this board, so I know that it's in that position there where I need to cut. Now to cut just the final boards in. Now I'm trimming off the ends of the boards. That's them all cut nicely now. Now it's time just to finish off the front section to hide the pad stones. Now to secure all the other boards. That's the boards all screwed down and cut nicely around the posts. It's all coming together. Okay, now for the step. I've cut all the boards and the boards for the side. They're all cut to the right size. I just need to screw them in place. That's that done. Now for the rope section. I've got the rope attachments to fix the rope to the posts. There is a screw that goes through the rope that fixes these firmly into the cups. That's that one done. Now just for this final section. I've cut the rope and bound the ends with electrical tape to stop it fraying. Done! Well, that's another job done. I think it looks quite nice, if I don't mind saying so myself. I hope the customer's happy.